All right. How's everybody doing so far? How is everybody doing so far? Hopefully, everybody is doing good. Just wanted to come on here real quick. First, a little early, of course, even though we start at 7, still waiting for Lisa and Charles to come on. But while we wait, let's check out sounds, check everything. Just make sure it's ready to go. We've been getting a lot of issues with this right now. Yeah, we've been getting some issues right now with this computer, so let's try some things out. Let me just share this real quick. Hey, Lisa.
Hey,
What is going on?
nothing much. How's everything going on your side?
It's going good. Just doing
Busy,
some
yeah?
right here. What?
Busy, yeah?
Yeah, it's been
I
good.
just, yeah, I've reached out to a couple of our people already, waiting for their response as well.
Did you just cut out?
No,
Am I cutting out?
no,
No?
no.
Hey, you got
That's,
your office back.
I know. Kinda, sorta. Slowly but surely.
No, that's good. Let me just. Sorry, I just gotta do something real quick. You ready for today's topic, Lisa?
I am ready for today's topic. I hope you get to a chance to show them what I sent you. I think it's really important for them to know,
Yeah.
especially now.
I didn't look at it yet just because again, I
You like
just
the element of surprise. I get it.
yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, anytime
So
I see something good to talk about, I always send it to you before I forget.
yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to not talk about it when we were kind of talking about it like last week. Some of the topics, I was like, oh no, shh. I want the element of surprise. Just want to be able to give my reaction so everybody gets to see it too, and it's not pre-planned or scripted. But yeah, did Charles reach out to you? Did he say that he was gonna be coming on today?
No, I mean, we only touch base on that our group chat, right?
Yeah. We
I know it
did.
must be really, really difficult because we take turns. Luckily, we take turns taking care of mom,
Hmm.
but I can't imagine doing it full time every single day. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Where's C?
Oh, he's outside.
Okay. Yard work? Weather's nice. It's just windy
The weather
today.
is really, really nice, and I've actually been getting my allergy shots, so it's nice to be outside.
Do those alley shots work?
Absolutely. We have a really good allergist. So my allergist is a total nerd. He is so awesome. And basically they have to find out really what you're allergic to. So I was
Hmm.
telling him like I'm allergic to exotic fruits, and being Asian, that doesn't help, right? And then watermelon, mangoes, shrimp, chicken. I used to be allergic to a whole bunch of stuff, right? And then what he was telling me was it wasn't that I was allergic to foods. A lot of times people who are allergic to foods, they're allergic to the pollen from the tree that mimics the same, very similar
Mm,
as the fruit. So because he knew that, he injected me with like 300 things that I was allergic to. There was a list that they'll take. They'll do all the blood samples and everything. They're a lot more sophisticated now, so they take a
yeah.
sample, especially here in Sacramento. But I used to, like, I swear it felt like the flu all of spring, and then all of a sudden on year 8, 9 that I've been living here, it's I didn't realize fall allergies existed too. So I was like, you know what? I can't do this half a year. I can't be sick like this half a year. So I did some research, did the allergy shots. I think it works fantastic, you guys. I think it's gone at least 90% of the time. I can eat
Mm.
much anything now.
Oh man, so it does help then, huh?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I didn't even realize you were talking about that kind of allergies. I was just talking about like, weather allergies, like
That is that allergies though. The weather allergy and everything like that makes that even worse. But yeah, it
really
helps with all the food allergies too.
interesting. I'm always against getting those kind of shots and stuff. Um, I'm just like that. Okay, don't ask me
I
why. But
totally
anyways,
understand. I totally understand, but it works.
okay, okay, good to know. Yeah, I've been curious about that, but this year so far my allergies hasn't really been um that
That
bad
yeah, my brother
yet.
said the same thing
Yet.
too. Yes, yeah. Spring just started last week, Shia. So let's hope it's not that bad. Hey,
Well,
Charles.
hey Charles,
Hey,
what's going on,
what's
man?
up? Same old same.
Yeah,
Yup.
just got done dusting off that piano, man. It looks extra shiny today.
Yeah, I put some shellac on it. Some liquid gold.
Did you cut your hair, bro?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. You
Man, you
eating
can't
on
be wearing
something,
that
man?
hat. You can't be wearing that hat and I don't have mine on.
Oh, it's just so comfortable, man.
Kind of
Maybe I should
represents.
start wearing a hat so I don't have to deal with doing my hair either, which I did not
That
today. So
too. That's why I love these hats, just because I don't need to fix my hair. I would go bald like Charles, but my wife says I don't look good in bald, so I stopped.
you know what? I'm now getting FOMO, so I'll be back. I'll get my hat too.
Are you okay? We'll wait for you to come back, and then we could
That's
start the
hella
live
funny.
stream. What?
She said, I'm going to go get my hat. Shoot.
FOMO's a real thing, man. How's your day so far, bro?
Man, I'm stressed out, dude. Got a lot going on. It was all right. But, no, it was all right. I need to hire somebody, man. It's hard to hire somebody knowing having
Didn't you
somebody.
just hire someone, Mike, or something?
Yeah, but I hired him like last year. I need somebody else.
Okay.
Need to be able to trust them, though, you know?
Yeah. It's tough. I think that's the hardest part, right? Finding somebody that you trust and then teaching them the ropes, hoping that they would, say, "Hey, she got her hat," but it's
Oh, nice. Love it.
for a second I
You
thought it
guys,
was a golf hat because it was like kind of baggy a little bit on the side, so I thought it was kind of like a golf hat, but it's not. It's just a
it's
little.
so
It's
funny.
just a little bit bigger.
It is because it's
Love
actually
it.
seized.
Love it.
Okay, let me just. Why don't we start? Huh? It's 7 o'clock. Let's get this going.
Let's
We'll
do
start
it.
the countdown. All right. See you
Mhm.
guys in 30 seconds. All right. 30 seconds is up. we could
Hey,
start.
hey.
I am convinced that they change that music every week or every month or something.
It changed, huh? Again.
Mhm.
It's okay. This
But
one,
it's
this
all
one felt a
good.
little bit. This one felt a little bit cool,
It did. It did.
right? I was like, oh, it's different. Okay, it's hitting some nerve. I didn't know it could hit.
Oh man.
Oh man, well, miss you guys. I know we weren't here last week, but we're here this week, and we got some stuff to talk about today with you guys, Chi fams. Gonna go over scams. Gonna go over scams. Gonna go over scams. Basically, today's all about scam. Okay, so don't get scammed. Hopefully, the information we share with you guys today could help, and you guys could prevent this from happening to you. Protecting
Mhm.
your assets, etc. Okay, if you guys like know anybody that's got scammed before, like in the real estate industry regarding rentals or anything like that, man, share it in the comment section, or you know, or if you guys have any other questions, just ask below, and it will answer them accordingly. But let me just go ahead and do a quick market update on March, based off of March 26, 2025. And then we'll start on today's topic. Yeah? Sounds
Mhm.
good, guys?
Mhm.
All right. Let me just share my screen. All right. Okay. Look, going up. Inventory is going up. It is up 2% from last week, but new listings are down, though, from last, like 9%. Sold homes are also down 11%. Pending homes are up 6% from last month. Inventory this month is higher by 15%. New listing is also higher by 23%. Okay. Sold homes are up 6%. Pending homes are up 22%. Same time last year. This year, inventory is more by 42%. New listings are also more by 8%, but sold homes are down 5%. Pending home is also
Inventory
higher. What'd you say?
inventory is more by 42%.
Based off of this from last year, same time.
That is interesting. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, that
Yeah,
threw me off.
interesting, right? It doesn't
42% is
feel like
pretty
it,
high.
huh?
Yeah, that's like more than wow. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but it does not feel like
Yeah.
it. Even though it says that, again, it's still not a lot of inventory, okay? 1,500 homes right now in Sac County, okay? So just think about that. New listings are up from last year, same time, March, 8%, but sold homes are down this year from last by 5%, and pending homes are up this year 10%. Average price per square foot kind of leveled. It went up by 2% from last week. It went up a little tiny tab, barely, not even 1% from last month. And from last year, same time, it's actually down almost 1%. Average price per square foot. Average price per square foot. Average days on the market, there is no change from last week. But from last month, it's about 4 days faster for a home to get sold. Okay. And from last year, same time, it's about 6 days slower. Okay. Give or take 6 days. That's still very quick, right? Would you guys agree? 6 days is nothing.
Yeah.
6 days is nada. Average sold in for sale. Active price is up from last week, 1%. Sold price is up 0.8. Not a lot. But from last month, active price is up this month by 1.5%. And average sold price is up from last month, 4.7%. Okay, see, this is what matters most, Lisa. Even though inventory is up 40%, like what we saw earlier, sold price is up also from last year, 6.5% increase this year. Active is down, but again, don't care much about active because the sold price is what matters most. Okay, that's what your appraiser is gonna go based off from is the sold price. You guys have heard me say that plenty of times, and it is up this year. All right, despite rates, despite the inventory being 40% more this year, it's still trending up. Okay, that's what I want you guys to see. Inventory, look, it's going up 2.2. Okay, see, so now we're getting more towards the end of March and it's getting a little bit more accurate. Remember how it was like at 4% and all that? That's not very accurate. I like it when there's more data, so that way it tells us the actual month's worth of inventory. And as you guys can see, it's 2.1. So there's no change from last month. But from last year, see right here, Lisa, from last year, we got 1.4 months of inventory.
Yeah.
So 51%. 51% increase. And again, that's not a lot if you think about that, right? Because 2.1 versus last year 1.4, that's still not a lot of inventory. Okay. That's why whenever you're if you're looking at homes right now and you're a first-time home buyer, you've probably seen every home out there already. And then the moment you get a notification from like Zillow, Redfin, or your agent that a new listing just came, everybody's like hurrying up over there to go look at the home right away, and so that's normally how it is. Everybody's looking at the same home. That's how you know there's not a lot of inventory when everybody's looking at the same homes. And that's your data. Okay, let me just share some mortgage stuff. And look at that. That is today's mortgage rates, y'all.
Up and down and up and down, right? I think last week when we touched base, it was also at the 6.8. It didn't really look like it moved a lot, but it has. It just came back to where it was last Wednesday. I believe we were touching at 6.8 for 30-year fixed conventional, and I think FHA slightly went up a little bit at 6 and 2.4. So again, if you're waiting for rates to change, even if they do, they will not change a whole lot. At the high in the last month, it was at 7.25, and at the low, it was at 6.625. Okay, so we're slightly in the lower side.
You think we're gonna get to see 5% this year, Lisa?
Good gracious, I hope. I have a lot of people that want to refinance.
I'm not asking if you hope. I'm asking you, do you think we're gonna get in the 5?
No, I don't. If we are, I think it's not going to be until the end of the year, until the dust settles with everything that is going on in the political world right now. They're going to settle all of that. They already talked about, remember, since we're going to talk about fraud later on, they're going to talk about the changes in the CFPB, whole bunch of stuff.
What is that? What is that? What is the CFPB?
So that is the consumer, good gracious, I can't remember exactly what it stands for anymore because that's all we call it. But it's basically the department that monitors all sorts of consumer fraud for financial services. So it's credit cards, it's mortgage companies, all banking institutions.
Got it. What about you, Charles? Any update on the home inspection side? Anything?
As far as just like, I mean, I haven't noticed anything slowing down at all. It's like I was talking about at the beginning, it's busy. And most of the other companies that I've talked to too, I mean, they're, week out. I mean, it's been crazy. So, I mean, I know, we're talking about Sac County, obviously, we do some Placer County and whatnot, other areas, but it's a pretty busy, start to a spring, even with the rates the way they are. I mean, I've got a lot of people that, they're selling their house because they're downsizing. I'm doing a lot of stuff in the, 55 and up community. There's obviously some movement going on there, but I mean, it's everybody's starting to pick up, so I mean, I feel like regardless of these rates, homes are still moving, in all areas. So it's been pretty active.
I think we're pretty blessed, right, guys, that we still, are serving clients, that our clients are still educated, not just with us, but knowing that with inflation and everything coming into play, that they're hedging that by being homeowners still.
Yeah. It's good to see. I mean, it's really good to see. I'm glad that, that people are still, they're still active doing this kind of stuff because, it's like you said many times, Lisa, it's probably that all that stuff was unprecedented. It's probably not going to happen again in our lifetime. I mean, and even with that, when was the last time that happened ever? When it dipped down that low? I mean, how many years ago was that?
It was a long time ago.
You mean home prices, or do you mean
the rates?
Interest rates.
Rates.
Interest rates.
Well, that was COVID.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That kind of thing doesn't just happen, right?
Yeah, that was COVID, and realistically, that was almost 5 years ago. 2020 to 2022 was very, very the beginning of COVID kind of sort of ending, right? So
that's so crazy that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna see it again for like another long time. Maybe in 30 years.
I don't think so either. And home prices continue to go up. I think the people that got hit the hardest during this season was probably at the tail end of 2022, right? Because everybody was buying in a buying frenzy during COVID. And in 2022, those are the people that are still waiting to accumulate equity. They bought it at the high. Prices started to go more stable in 2023, 2024, and then now we're in 2025.
Rates were starting to increase like late 22, right? Was it 22?
I would say early 2023, but yes, it started to make a turn in 2022. I remember in 2020, yeah. And how quickly that turned, we're talking about in about 2 years, it turned like that.
Yeah.
It was quick.
Yeah.
And even during that time, people were still saying it's expensive.
Yeah. You asked me earlier. You said it earlier, Chia. I was like, hey, do you think rates are going to come down to 5? It's so crazy because remember when they were at the 2s, 3s, 4s, and then 5s, people were like going ballistic that it's now in the 5s.
Yeah, but then those people that ended up just deciding to just take a bullet and buy anyways, they're glad they did because now they're comparing that to right now.
Absolutely.
So it's been a crazy ride in the real estate world, everyone. So you guys are not the only one. Okay.
Yeah. You know what's crazy though? I'm doing this one house that's possibly a short sale as well. So they go, oh, that's coming back. Okay.
There's a lot of short sales going on right now.
Really? Okay. This is my first, but wow.
We need to, that's gonna be our next topic.
Are you putting in offers for short sales right now?
So I've had a colleague that just went through a short sale.
Okay.
And that was interesting to hear. So I might need to have him on the show one of these days and talk more about that. And then second, I have a client right now, and we've been looking at some homes, and a lot of them have been short sales. Like people just bought these homes in like 2021.
That is interesting because it started to turn in 2022, but this is 2021 too. So maybe they got it at the height too. They had to.
I don't know,
yeah, because most home prices, as you can see, are increasing. It's not really decreasing. It depends on the area, for sure, and the home prices, right? Where a lot of our people in Sacramento County are first-time home buyers, so they're buying first-time homes, and they're staying there a little bit longer. But if they're buying their next-gen home or something like that, especially, I can see it happening with new builds for sure.
It's not new builds. It's older home that's been like flipped by a flipper before and sold it to like a first-time home buyer, and they just kind of let it go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm talking homes I'm talking 2021. They bought it for like $490, and then now it's on the market for like $400.
Wow, it really doesn't matter what you short sell it for, right? When you short sell.
Right.
So they're probably going to get the interest and everything. That's really interesting. I'd like to see how that market played out because the last time when it was this crazy, it was in 2012-ish where everybody and the mama was doing short sales.
So I was really shocked when I saw that. I'm like, short sales. Interesting. Short sale here too, You know what I mean? So it just got me wondering. But then I think that's a good topic to talk about. I might need to reach out to my colleague and maybe have him on the show one of these days so we could talk more about short sales in general and what he went through and what he learned. Because I think everybody could kind of learn from that too. You know,
Do I know
it's a
this
lot of
colleague?
information. Huh?
Do I know this colleague too?
Of course, you know this colleague. Charles knows his colleague too.
Yeah. Come on. I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
curious now.
But let's not waste any more time. I kind of want to get on this next topic that we're gonna talk about. And it's in the title.
Yeah.
This is gonna go hand in hand with the scam and all that. Of course, obviously, this is a scam right here too. That's being done by a squatter. So they took over a Phoenix home and sold it for $200K. That's crazy. This is pretty crazy. Again, this is my first time reading this and then watching this video with you guys without the owners knowing. So I don't want to take too much away from this. Let me just full screen this and we can watch it. Okay. Yeah. You guys can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Looking at homes far beyond your reach, then let us add to your real estate addiction. These are the 3 craziest dream mansions that will make you wish you had an extra $100 million in the bank. First up, we have the Copper Beach Farm Mansion, a 50-plus acre waterfront estate that spans almost a mile in the affluent Connecticut town of Greenwich. Originally built in 1898, the over 13,000 square foot main home overlooks the Long Island Sound.
Wait, is this the right video?
It should be. Or which is weird.
You have to skip the. Is that an ad or something?
Yeah.
Is this an ad?
Under James Chan, California.
I think it's an ad. It might be this. No? Is this another ad too?
Is that it?
Either there and they're not showing it, and we just have to read it. Sometimes that happens
Oh man, I thought there was gonna be a video. What a tease. Again, this is my first time reading this article, so like I'm going through this the same time as you guys. All right, let's read this article then.
Refresh the page, see if it changes.
Yeah.
Like maybe if that one will come back.
Because sometimes these articles, you know, they have a video that goes with it, you know?
Yeah. Which is cool because usually it's right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's got to be something else, but that's cool. I mean, we still got the pictures and everything else, so.
Yeah. And of course, I get ads. Okay. All right, let's read this. Most people worry about their bike or car being stolen, not their home. But that's exactly what happened to DeAndre Turner when squatters took over her home in Phoenix and sold it without her knowledge. I don't know how that's possible because we have title companies that verify, ask for IDs, and all of that. So, like, how are they able to sell it unless they sold it to like an investor and the investor got savvy and was able to, like, I don't know, even that you still need a notary, and the notary requires you to get your fingerprint, your IDs, etc. Unless things are done differently in Arizona that I don't know about. But right,
how are you that disconnected?
Like,
how are you that disconnected from your home without having any kind of
yeah.
property management or anything?
So read further. I'm not, because again, you wanted it to be impromptu, Chia. So I didn't either.
Yeah. So, okay. So it feels so surreal. Turner shared in an interview with ABC 15. I feel like I'm in the twilight zone, really. I didn't even think something like this could happen. Yeah, me too. But it did. After Turner's ex-husband, Keith, a long-haul trucker, left the house unattended for a period of time, 2 strangers, Aaron and Holland, forced their way in. Once inside, they found personal documents belonging to the Turners, forged new ones, and assumed their identities. Squatters stole my house, Turner says, still in disbelief. They actually moved in, posed as me, and sold my house.
That's how they did it then, Chia. This is identity fraud to the next level.
Seriously.
Wow.
And then, but that's how. Okay, I know there's probably going to be something in here, but how quickly did they do that? How long were they gone?
Exactly. Let's read further. Maybe we're kind of jumping the gun a little bit. With fraudulent paperwork in hand, the squatters successfully listed and sold the home to real estate investors. Yeah, I knew it. It was to investors, all without the Turners knowing. They might have gone away with it too, but they ran into trouble when they tried to cash checks written out in the Turners' names. Okay. Paul. The squatters now await trial, and the Turner's home is back in the right hands. Okay, but the story highlights a growing trend of criminals selling properties without the homeowners knowing about it. Here's how to guard yourself against this disturbing crime. Title fraud. Your keys give you physical access to the home, but your title secures your legal right to it. That right is recorded on a deed, the legal document that proves who holds ownership. In a legitimate real estate transaction, the title transfer is carefully overseen by an agent, title company, notary to ensure everything is properly documented. But fraudsters know how to manipulate the system, sometimes slipping through these safeguards undetected. Oh, these are the squatters. Okay, look at those mugshots. Just ask Turner. By forging documents impersonating her and her ex-husband, the squatters were able to fool a title company and notary. Yeah, that's crazy. By the time Turner realized what had happened, the property had already changed hands on paper. When Turner saw the forged document, she was stunned. That's not my name and that's not my signature, she said in the interview. How does this happen? At what point did someone not do their job? That's true. How to protect your property from title fraud. Title is on the rise. It can happen to anyone, but properties that are vacant or mortgage free are at the greatest risk. Oh, okay, I can see that. No mortgage and it's vacant. Yeah, easy targets. Without proactive safeguards, homeowners may not discover their title has been stolen until long after it's changed hands. Monitoring your property is essential to combat the title theft. Many counties, including Maricopa County, where Turner's home is located, offer free notifications whenever a document is recording your name. This means if someone fraudulently files a deed transfer on your property, you'll be notified. Okay, that's pretty cool. Another way to catch fraud before it happens is to set up a simple Google alert for your address. Oh, I didn't even know about that. Bad actors sometimes list stolen properties for sale before homeowners realize something's wrong. Google it. So basically, they forge the documents on the deed, I guess, or IDs. I don't know.
So here's okay. I got a couple of things. Okay, if
Mm-hmm.
they were to sell this house, like you said, if they sell it to investors, unless they did it outside of escrow, which that investor, I don't know why they would jeopardize that, but okay. Let's assume that they did go to the title company. One of the things that they said that they had a hard time cashing it, which
Yep.
means they had false IDs, right?
Yep. False
Which
IDs.
means,
They're
right,
saying
they
they're
had
the
false
tuners.
IDs. So here's where I see a question mark where it's like, okay, well, if they use their ID to do the sale, couldn't they have used the same ID to open a checking account in their name and also cash it?
True. If they could have went to that extent,
Right?
but maybe when maybe this is happening so fast, right? When they did all this, that
Yeah. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. They're doing it when you open a checking account, it doesn't require for you to have a mobile notary unless the bank
true.
flagged it somehow. The bank flagged it somehow. It looked a little bit sus, right? All of a sudden they had
Yeah.
200,000 and then now they're now just opening a bank account. If
Yeah.
anything, they should have opened it, left it for a while and cash it in later when they've already had some. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to give people ideas. Never mind. I'm just thinking. I just realized that.
Nowadays with ChatGPT and all that, trust me, people
That's
want to
true.
do something they could
That's
just
true.
find out, do it. There's so
So
much fraud going on right now.
that's what I have to.
I'm just
That's one.
ah,
Two, I'm thinking, okay, people who don't have a loan because it mentioned earlier there was no mortgage on it, so there was no way you didn't have to get a mortgage statement payoff or anything like that. So the title and escrow company didn't have to call anybody else. They really just needed to verify the ID. So people who don't have a mortgage, it's a wonderful thing, but they really got to monitor this. Then that's just so crazy that they would have to do this because there's people like this, especially if it's not your primary residence. I can't imagine if this happened to somebody who lives in that house, like an elderly person.
what I'm curious. I wonder what the investor did. The one
Yeah.
that The one that wrote the check for 200K.
Did
Well, I
they,
mean,
yeah, well,
they
did they
didn't
lose
lose
their
anything
money?
because it was a check.
Well, it wasn't cash. It wasn't. Well, unless it was cashier's check, right? But it probably wasn't.
True. So, well, I'm thinking if they went through the title company and all that, the title's the one that dispersed the check.
Correct. So usually the money is already in, the money is already transferred from all parties, and that check is from escrow. So escrow could stop that check. Escrow could stop that wire.
So now I'm curious as to who's gonna get fired from that title company, or is it even the title company's fault? Like,
No,
is there a way? Maybe Lisa, maybe you might know, but normally,
well, first of all, how can you tell if it's a fake ID? Unless they do have some sort of a
I've
stamp,
never seen a fake ID in my whole life, so I wouldn't even know how to tell you that, Lisa.
right? And
Does
the
it
other
look
thing is,
legit? Like,
yeah, think about it. If this happened in Arizona, what happens if you got a California ID? How would somebody in Arizona remember and know how a California ID, or any other state for that matter, right?
yeah,
So how would they know?
that is, man, I'm so curious now. I would love to like talk to one of my title companies and just ask them these questions. Send this article to them and let me know what their thoughts are. I am so curious because if it went through title and the title dispersed a check to the fake Turners, and then it wasn't until the fake Turners couldn't cash a check that they got caught.
It's
Yeah,
funny that you say that. I'm going to ask my title and escrow gal right now.
yeah, I'm very curious. Like, how did they get past that? Like, don't they verify? Like, was the fingerprints that they had on the old legit deed doesn't match the new fingerprints that the notary got? Like, did they find out
Well,
that, or like what?
well, here's the thing. I've been to several signings, Chia. Every time somebody signs, it's not the same mobile notary to begin with.
It's not, but they still do the same protocol, right? The same
They
thing
do.
applies. They get fingerprint, they sign, they show ID, and the ID gets copied, and so that's the normal procedure. So I
Okay.
am just curious if that was the discrepancy, right, with the fingerprint. I don't know. Like, there's so many questions I want to ask, but I'm just shocked because how did they get past all of that? Because now it makes it seem like it's just so easy to scam a home if
Well,
you have those
maybe
documentations.
and maybe trying to cash or deposit that much money requires significant background looking into, and maybe that's where they got caught. Because you said on the article, it said they got caught when they tried to basically deposit or cash the check, right? So
Yeah.
maybe because they were putting in that much money, that required further investigation, and then somewhere within the bank, they were like, "Wait a minute, these aren't the right pictures. These aren't the right whatever signatures. This signature doesn't match this other signature." Obviously, it happened somewhere in there. But then, what would happen if that bank or whoever the verification party was didn't do any of that? Then they would have been scot-free with all of that money.
I wish they would have like shared more info, like, oh, they had to reverse the whole sale because obviously the check was printed out by the title company. Everything was done supposedly legit. That's why there was a check printed out. But now that it needs to be reversed, notary needs to go back out there and erase what was signed or get rid of whatever's on file. The county of Arizona has to retract those closing deeds and all of that. The investor that paid for title insurance and do all of that is going to get reimbursed back. Like, what happened, because it's not just, hey, I want to buy this house, open escrow, close escrow, I get a check. You still have to go through a whole process, which takes about a week or so, unless it's
Right.
different over there.
I would assume it's very similar.
Me
If
too.
anything, we're more lenient than many other states who actually have to have a real estate attorney in the transaction too.
True.
Right?
Yeah, some
Which
states
is
require.
weird. Yeah, which is weird to me because California is such a litigious state. I'm surprised we don't even have to have one.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm telling you, not yet. That is very, very interesting.
Well, I asked my gal. Hopefully, if she'll respond to us by this show, I'll let you know. And if not, we can always do a recap on the next one.
Yeah. We can do that. Well, we just get an update.
Yeah.
I've mentioned this before, but whenever we help a seller list their homes on the market for sale, and if it's vacant, you know, there's signs to find out if your home's been broken into by a squatter, or there's signs that it's being targeted to be squat. Like some of the signs are if you go and check your home regularly, your listings regularly, which you should. Whenever we list a property for our clients, we normally go check it out once a week. And then if you notice that somebody's just getting rid of your signs or they're hiding it, right? That might be a sign. And sometimes what happens is if you don't go check your listings and your sign's been knocked out, the squatters will see that and then they'll be like, okay, you know what? He's not coming, nobody's coming out to fix a sign. Cool. Maybe they don't really care about this vacant home. Okay, let's remove it entirely. They remove it, they wait a couple days, nobody comes out, then they break in. And when they break in, they move furniture in, beddings in. They draw a fake lease agreement saying that the owners rented it out to them. They turn the utilities on. Yes, you can just turn the utility on and you don't need a lot of verification or consent. You could do that, at least in California. Okay. And they get utilities set up from SMUD and PG&E or whoever. And then once it's all in, when you go and check your home, you're knocking on the door, they're going to be like, oh, we live here. We just rented this out. Here's a fake. Here's a lease agreement.
Here's my
And then,
lease. Yeah.
yeah, they show all of that. And then when you call the cops look at that fake lease. They don't know if it's a real one or a fake lease. A lease is a lease. They're
Yeah.
just gonna be like, oh man, utilities are in their name too. Okay, we can't do anything about this. It looks like if they are squatting, there's some rules that's protecting them right now and all that, and so things like that could happen. You have to go and check your listings if it's vacant, you
Yeah.
know? So yeah, that is crazy. That is so crazy. I think, they mentioned on here that the ex-husband was supposedly living there, but he's a truck driver, so he's gone away a lot of times. And that's why it was targeted, because it was vacant, right? And they're
Yeah.
separated. I've heard that another way to protect your investment from getting squat or preventing this from happening is putting it under a LLC. Because when you put it under a LLC, it's going to be very hard for them to be able to forge that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa.
I would think so, just because an LLC has a different form of ID. One, they can't really, in this situation, it's tougher because these people, they found information of these people
They did.
in the home, right? So in an LLC, it's harder to tell who owns the LLC, or even in a trust, right? Who owns it. And in a trust too, they have to be somebody that can sign on behalf of the trust, somebody that can sign on behalf of the LLC, right? And they also have to have the LLC documentation. They also have the trust documentation. So yeah, it is harder. So just like what Tito said on the last show, protect your assets with the trust.
Yeah, I think some sort of protection in that regards gives another layer, right? So that way, if somebody, like, let's say a squatter squats a home, they're gonna get stuck, right? When they come across that LLC, they're gonna be like, oh man, it's in an LLC. Okay, now they have to do research, and sometimes it's just too bothersome to go through all of that. So little things like that would help. Okay, but okay, I want to go to the next article because it goes hand to hand. It's not done by a squatter, but here, I'll just share the article. Okay. Self-proclaimed real estate diva was actually a real estate deceiver. Okay, she was accused of pocketing nearly $200,000 in rental and purchasing scam. Hey, you guys see a trend here?
200,000. That's the magic number.
200,000 here. This home was sold for $200,000 too, huh?
Right?
Okay, I don't know what to say to him, but okay, 200K. I guess that's the number, huh? If in that's 200K, is gonna fall into a scam. I'm just saying. Okay, so Myers described herself on Zillow as a real estate diva, but authorities accuse the woman of being a real estate deceiver. Myers, 53, is accused of netting 200,000 or close to it from a home rental and purchasing scam that she conducted after her real estate license was revoked. Oh man, it got revoked for a reason. In March 2021, after complaints from victims and real estate agents. You know what's funny, y'all? I have a few blacklisted agents that I done business with before in the past, and that's how they got on my blacklist. I will never do business with again. So yeah, this just reminded me of them. Anyways, state records show she's had 5 complaints for unlicensed activity since. Oh my gosh, 5 complaints. Authorities said that unlicensed activity is what landed her behind bars on 4 felonies Thursday. According to
How
the
did
11
she
page,
get caught?
I know the fact that she was able to get all of these felonies, right?
Well, I mean, you steal $200,000 from people, somebody's gonna complain. You steal $1,000, somebody's gonna complain. You steal
Yeah.
$500, somebody's gonna complain.
Yeah. I'm curious how she got caught finally, though.
Yeah, go
Like,
continue. Let's see.
yeah, according to the 11-page arrest affidavit, a full 7 of which were redacted by Broward prosecutor, citing in part active criminal intelligence and active criminal investigation info. Plantation police had been notified for several cases involving Myers. The police department investigator said Myers was acting as an agent to facilitate the rental and purchase of homes and was collecting deposits. You know, this is a real thing. I actually knew someone that was a victim to something like this. They were looking for a rental and they saw a home that they liked that was being advertised by this scammer, and they went and looked at it. They've never met the scammer, but they were able to get into the home, so they thought it was legit, because how could a scammer get access to a home? Well, he used Open Door, and then he took off all the Open Door stickers, everything that had anything to show Open Door's logo on it, and he just gave the code to the people, and then they went in, they liked the home, they gave him the deposit, he drew up a fake lease agreement, and in the moment he got the deposit from them, he ghosted, he changed his numbers, and then they will move in, and the agents or the reps at Golden One will go in and be like, "What are you guys doing?" And then same thing. They thought that they were renting a home from a legit landlord, and they call the number, they report the number, and that person's already gone. It's like a Google Voice number or like a burner phone or whatever. So these things are real, you know. It's crazy. I made a video about this like a couple years ago because I
Yeah, and
found
it's
out
sad
about this.
because like when you're asking people for rent or even trying to sell the property, a lot of times, if I read on, it says how like she asked people to give her money directly and she would take care of them. And somebody who's not a first time home buyer doesn't know that there is an escrow company that is the mediator between all of this. And it's really, really sad. And it's even worse that it's somebody in our industry taking advantage of people.
Yep. Yeah, right now with AI, it's so easy to get fooled if you don't know how to look for the clues.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
think the point in this for our Chi fam is, guys, make sure you do your due diligence. Don't take our word for it. Understand the process, understand what's involved, understand why the title and escrow company is so important. And this is the biggest reason why. There is an impartial party that takes all of that money. So nobody's pocketing anybody, anything, nobody's exchanging cash of any sort.
Yeah.
Geez.
Yeah, if anybody, even an agent that claims to be an agent, anybody, they are requesting cash from you from either of these sites, you know, or apps right here, it's a red flag. Everything again goes through escrow, and if if it is like a property manager and all that, ask for credentials, ask for license and all that, and verify, because most of the time they're not going to ask for straight cash.
Right.
They're not. They're going to ask for a cashier's check, and all of that, you know. So just be mindful. This is some crazy stuff. And another thing too is wires. You know, like there's a lot of wirings that there's a lot of wiring frauds out there too that people need to avoid. Like, I don't know how these scammers get these information, Lisa, but like the moment some of our clients get into escrow, it's like their information gets marketed or whatever, and they get all these scam emails.
Yeah.
And it says, "Oh, congratulations! Like, wire your deposit here."
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, wait, you're not. If you're in contract right now with a home, and you receive any suspicious emails like that asking for you to wire anything, but your agent didn't notify you ahead of time, or the title officer, call the title officer and verify. What I have my clients do all the time is, before wiring, I'll tell them to print the wire instructions out, and then go to their bank and call the title company to make sure every number on those wire instructions, the account number, the routing numbers, are all correct. If it's not correct, the address is not correct, do not send the money through wire, because that might be the scammer's bank account.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's so smart, Chia. I tell my clients that as well. It's just more of like, they're going to make it look so similar. If you have ever gotten spam before, I mean, I've gotten it and I've opened it. And now I make a habit of every single time, even when I get it from my own banking institution, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, the big name banks, right? It looks so legit. They have their logo on it and everything. And then when you click on the email address, it's some weird encrypted email. Definitely check that first. And they're getting a lot more and more savvy. And I think, we have to have antiviruses on our laptops, on our devices. And even then, it's probably not 100%. Nothing is going to be 100%. But what it is nothing happens until something probably triggers, like, ooh, they're doing a transaction. Ooh, they're doing something that involves a good chunk of money that I can get a hold of, right? And there's other people who monitor your accounts and things like that too, where maybe $5 is missing here, $10 is missing there, $100 there, $100 there. And if you have all your credit cards, you have 5, 10 credit cards in there, and that's how they can get you. So be very, very careful with that. Monitor all of your activities in every bank account and every credit card.
Yeah, I mean,
there is somebody, like, they're monitoring like public record. They have to be. It's like when people pass away, I really feel like there's certain people that are actually monitoring that, because then they start following up, sending mail to the address to try to see if if they're going to sell the home and all this other stuff. It's like there's people that are literally looking for these things, and so some of this stuff that when it starts to be public record, yeah, seriously. So they're like trying to prey on the situation. Yes, I know business has to be business, and maybe somebody in a situation like this may actually benefit because they didn't know what to do, and then somebody reaches out and says, "Hey, I can sell your home for you." Oh, that's my savior. But then that next person might be a scammer and says, "Oh, I can sell your home for you," and then they take advantage of the situation. So it just really sucks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of red flags, right? You can kind of tell because how they do business, or like how they're just the way they act is just very suspicious. And I think, Charles, a lot of times these families that are getting scammed, they're already in a very vulnerable place, and I think not all of their senses are tingling, because they're shutting them off, because that's what they want. Is they're going through so much already that they just want to shut everything off and just live life, the best they can, one day at a time, right? So I think that's part of the reason how they get taken advantage of, because they're being blinded,
Yeah. And that, earlier you mentioned that the open door situation, Chia. This is another, no knock on them or anything like that, but sellers, understand that when you use these companies and whatnot, and you don't have a security system in place, you don't have cameras. I mean, a lot of this could have been avoided if there was cameras. Even with our Ring, that is very, very simple to use. Everything's on our phone. Any motion and whatnot is on our phone, right? So you can really readily see that. Just something like that could avoid a lot of these headaches for you guys.
Yeah. No, that is so true. Um, nowadays, if you are if you're hiring like an agent that's not local and they can't really come by your home because it's vacant and all that,
Mhm.
then dude, get a house sitter. Like get a house sitter to go in there or ask a neighbor. Dude, neighbors, I ain't gonna lie, neighbors are hecka nosy. You want to know anything about property? Go knock some doors. The other day, one of our clients just wanted to know more info about this one home, right? I kid you not. They're wondering, they're like, man, like, why is this home so cheap? And like, what's going on? Did somebody pass away in the home? And dude, they went and spoke to some neighbors, and the neighbors told them everything about that house. Oh, yeah, that person passed away. They didn't even realize that that person was gone until they checked in, and then they realized that the door wasn't even locked and all that. And they basically just spilled out the whole life story of that home to the interested party, So you can find out a lot just by
Right.
knocking doors. Because trust me, neighbors are hecka nosy. They know everything that's going on. Because one thing too is, just not for the sake of being nosy, but to protect themselves too, because they live in the area. They want to make sure that nobody is doing any shady, scandalous stuff in their area. They're just protecting their people.
Yeah, absolutely. And who wouldn't want to make 50, 50, $100 here and there, right? Hey, can you just check in my house every single week?
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it. But you have your alarm, you have somebody to come in to check it. And that's the thing, when you don't have an agent to represent and have somebody to make sure that they're calling in the listings, to make sure that in order for them to even have access to the house that you're selling, okay, they have to have an agent code so that they know, and they have a record, and they
Yep.
have a track of who goes in and out of your house. If Open Door doesn't allow you to do that, just imagine how many squatters could be there. There's no registration for these people that come into your home. Why would you put
Yeah.
yourself in that situation?
No, for reals. Gosh, these poor families that's going through this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There's other scams too. Like if
Yeah.
you're like we were talking about short sales, right? Or foreclosures and all that. When you're going through that, kind of like what Charles was saying earlier, for some reason these vultures get notification, right? And they start coming out there. They might pose as like they're with a mortgage company. They're there to help. They could probably help you with the loan modification, so that way you don't fall into foreclosure or you don't lose your home. Like they will target you and keep pressing that button of yours because they know that that's your button to push to get you to like give them money basically, and then they make it look legit. They draw all these fake contracts and make it look legit. They even make fake websites for their banks and all of that, so like these people go through like a big extent. And earlier we were talking about how like you should not be giving cash but via Venmo, Zelle, and Cash Apps, right? Do you know that now the big thing, there's some websites out there's some scammers out there right now. They will like sell certain items for you. Let's say you're a fisherman, right? And you're looking for stuff for your boat. They will sell super affordable stuff for your boat. And the only form of payment they take on their website is, guess what? Venmo, Zelle, Cash App. They don't do any regular checkout procedure that's secure. They always request for Cash App. And you know what's so crazy? They go through the whole extent of making a Facebook page, right? And then the Facebook page will have fake members. And the fake members will come and comment on the pictures and be like, oh, thank you so much, blah, 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 company for sending me my super affordable product. I just received it today. And they make it look super legit that it will fool somebody gullible enough not to do their own research and look deep into the people. But you will go, and if you dive deep enough and you click on these profiles, you will see that, hey, for some reason, this Facebook page just formed a couple months ago. All these members that came and commented on it just started their Facebook group, their profile, the same time that group came on. And so it starts getting super sketchy and super sus.
See, here's the thing. I'm listening to everything that you're saying. The effort it takes to scam somebody
Oh my
to that
gosh.
extent, you could put the same effort in actually selling the property for these people.
Or selling the product,
Legit.
right?
And be legitimate and then make your money legitimately instead of ripping
Well, it
people off.
seems like it's a heck of a lot more work to be scammy and slimy than it is to just get your license, or even if you wholesale it to and partner up with somebody that's licensed. Like, hey, let me get a cut on this, because they're selling it for less anyway to make it attractive to sell to
Right,
these investors
they
to
are.
begin with, right? So it's like, well, if you're going to get a small
I
murder
think
cut anyway, you might as well do it legitly. And all this work that you're doing to make a false thing, you could have definitely do it as the real way. I just don't get it.
I think that takes away all the fun, Lisa, all the excitement, all the adrenaline rush. These people just want to be living on edge all the time.
Oh, good gracious.
It's like they woke
Yeah,
up one
maybe-
day, they got an idea, and they're like, "I'm gonna do it to the fullest."
Yeah,
I guess
They
that's-
truly believe it's a business. It's a legit business.
Yeah,
You know what?
they're
I
like,
think
this is my
so
business. This is my
sheltered.
scam business.
Yes.
Dude,
I am just so sheltered. I don't see the fun in that, but the demise of somebody else. It's just that's
I
my
watched
bug.
I watched this one guy on YouTube. He exposes scammers. A lot of these scammers that he exposed are like from like India and Fiji and all that. And he'll like he'll change his voice and act like an old person, and then he'll fall victim to it. He'll call their fake number and be like, "Oh, can you guys help me?" And just let them take over his computer. And then while they take over, he'll hack their system and he'll get it all recorded and live. It's pretty interesting how these
That is
geeks,
really
these
cool. So he hacks the hacker.
oh my god, yeah, it's super cool. Like it's so cool how he's able to do it because it's like victory, and then sometimes he'll be able to go into their bank accounts and take and get money and return the money back to the people that was victims, and
So
he'll
he's a
record it.
cyber Robin Hood.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
pretty
crazy.
cool. Yeah,
So
but
cyber Robin Hood.
there's so many like scams out there, Lisa. You have no idea. And AI just made it even easier for them to be able to come out with all of these new algorithms and systems.
See, now they just made all us Asian people not even want to trust the banking system even more.
Wait till they get rid of cash completely. What are we gonna do then?
Gold, silver. We go back to the old medieval days. It was like, here's a little rock that symbolizes the silver. I have no idea
That
how
thing
much.
should be worth 1 ounce of gold.
Yeah, I'd like 2
Uh,
pounds of milk with this and some eggs, please. With this piece of
So,
silver, I'm gonna melt down. Make it like that.
there's actually a movie that came out last year that's it's pretty much literally all about this. There's an older lady and she manages, she's got her home, her husband passed away. She manages, a bunch of different accounts and things for like a charity and some other stuff. And this stuff pops up on your computer, and then they tell them this sob story and this and that or whatever, scam them, and they're just doing this constantly. So anyways, this person now, he's a vigilante and he just ends up blowing up everything and all that. But the point is that this is happening every single day, and this is real. And then, like you said, AI is making it easier for people that don't even really know how to do anything. They could just have AI do it for them, and it's like
yeah, they could just work from the comfort of their home.
So Chia, my gal, did actually respawn. And that's why she's my gal. And she says that no, they don't actually have any devices to tell if the ID is fake or not. And they just go by the Good Samaritan, hoping people aren't scamming.
Dude, that is crazy.
I did ask when that happens, who's liable for that?
That is too crazy. I get it, right? If you're working, if you're a title company, you're working for a title company like that, your job, your duty is just to go through the protocol, right? You're not there to second guess every fingerprint, every ID that comes through the door, right? Hey, we just gotta ask you, sir, did you forge this ID? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's kind
Yeah.
of like lenders, right? Like loan officers, Lisa, where you guys can't technically like ask a person, are you an illegal immigrant? Like, are you an alien?
Right.
Because on the application, right? Like they could say on there that they're not, but they are, you know?
Yeah.
I've had a situation like that happen to me one
Me
time.
too.
Crazy. Let me just share it before I lose my train of thought. Okay. Couple years ago, probably 6 or 7 years ago, when I did a deal, this buyer, he just assumed that he's been living in the States for the past 10 plus years
Mhm.
and that he's good. But he forgot to renew his like citizenship or a green card, right? And then on the application, he didn't put down that he has a green card or anything like that. You guys have a box to check mark all
Mhm.
that, right?
Right.
And he didn't. He just put citizenship, U.S. citizen,
Yep.
because he has like a social security card number and all that, you know. And then, dude, they're going through underwriter. We're like a week away from closing. Luckily, we didn't remove loan contingencies. And then the lender calls me up and says, "Dude, the buyer has a green card, dude, and he lied on his application." But then they went to underwriter and all of these things came out that says that he didn't renew his green card and all that, and it shows up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck? And so I was kind of upset at the lender. I was like, how come you didn't check this the week you got introduced to the client? And of course, he said, well, that's not a question I ask clients. I don't ask them if they're an alien or anything like that. So
Right.
I don't know. It was tough. It was tough.
It was tough, and let me tell you, it doesn't show up on the credit report to you. So I understand
Yeah.
where that where it came from. It doesn't show up, and the underwriter will do a data verify, fraud check, and everything like that. And sometimes it doesn't come back until later because sometimes the records is long. Okay, so
Yeah, it does take a while.
yeah, it does take a while. Usually it's supposed to be about 72 hours, max 5 days, I would think. So if they got started from the very beginning, hopefully, and you said it was found out before the loan contingency was removed. That's normal. Luckily, that was the case. They do have ways to
Oh,
find
yeah,
out.
he was very
Correct.
devastated. He was upset, and then he was like, "Can I just go back and redo the application?" I'm like, "Well, you have to renew your citizenship, your
Yeah,
green card, unfortunately." And
yeah,
he's like, "That's gonna take a long time." I'm like,
yeah,
"Yeah, then it's not gonna fly." And then he was super upset, but I think everything happens for a reason because then, let's say it went through. He
yeah.
owns the home now. A month after that, I stayed in touch with them and something happened to him personally, right? Financially. And I was like thinking about everything that happened between that transaction and him. I'm glad that he didn't get the home. And that happened because he would have been devastated because he wouldn't have been able to pay the mortgage.
What happened to the home?
Nothing happened to the home. Something happened to him
Oh, got it,
financially.
got it.
Yeah, so it was almost like,
It was meant to be.
yeah, it was like meant to be. Yeah, it was like a blessing in disguise. Yeah, it sucked that he couldn't own a home, but dude, like I stayed in touch with him. He was like, chill. Like, I'm glad I didn't buy that home because I would have been stressed right now
Mhm.
because I got, like got laid off and etc. Things started piling up. So yeah,
Yeah.
things like that. It's just amazing how it kind of happened the way it did.
Yeah, yeah. And I tell people all the time, in this business, we see happiness, and every so often, and we don't like it, but we see disappointment as well. And then we see why it happened, and you know, um, we're faith based, so we know why,
You know,
right?
somebody's
Yeah,
watching you. You got an angel watching you, bruh.
absolutely.
Okay, well, that is it for the topics, the updates. Today's show, it's 8 o'clock. I want to respect everybody's time, and I'll let you guys go. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments, or if you guys have any other topics you guys want to talk about, shoot them out. Let us know. We will love to talk about that topic with all you guys and give us our 2 cents. Okay. Um, but without further ado, you guys have a good night, Chichi fans. Hey, Mandy. Peace out. Chi Chi fans, good night. See you guys next time.